here we go, spawning in the top right-hand corner of Hecate. We have our red Protoss player from the land of Taiwan representing Team Little Fairy. Ooh, it is our Protoss representative, Nice. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Terran player representing his new team, the Platinum Heroes. It is Nicoract. Again, all Zerg players have been eliminated from the tournament. Some of them knocked each other out, to be fair. But now we have Terran and Protoss here left. Who is it going to be? Nice and Nicoract. I believe they are both Sparkling Tuna Cup champions. I mean, we've been hosting this event for 43 editions already. So let me just quickly check some stats and have a look at that, as Nicoract is going for an eBay block. It looks to be the case here, as the SCV is going to be skirting around the edge of the map. And no, my apologies, that is not an eBay. Are we going for the racks? We only have one racks back at home. SV, okay, yeah, there we go. We're going to be slipping in, and we're going for the block here at the natural. This is to disrupt the opener of the Protoss and ideally force an unnatural natural. As we can see, Nice is late to scout his natural. In recent times, in the most recent meta, Protoss players have become faster at checking the natural base to stop this from happening. But Nice, being a little bit lax, he goes for a later scout, and as a result, this eBay is almost done. A lot of progression on this eBay, a lot of HP, and Nice, he's forced to take the unnatural natural. This is ideal for Nicoract. Now that Nice is forced to expand in a really uncomfortable position, Nicoract can go for a factory. He can go for a factory follow-up into Cyclones. There it is, factory is on the way, Cyclone's going to be on the horizon, Nice is going to be in a bit of trouble. As you can imagine, it's very difficult for a Protoss player to defend your natural base and your main effectively against this kind of army, against Nicoract. So we'll see if Nicoract can pull Nice apart. Meanwhile, I was just quickly checking some of the stats here, and let's find out how do we have our champions. Let's see. Okay, so Nicoract, he has won Sparkling Tuna Cup twice. He has 2 wins under his belt so far. I believe Nice has won a couple of times, right? I need to double check. He has as well. Oh, there you go. there you go. Both Nice and Nicoract, they've both gotten 2 wins under their belts. They both have 2 Sparkling Tuna Cup championships. Who will get the third, though? Who will take a lead? For those that are curious, fun fact, the player that has the most Sparkling Tuna Cup championships under their belt is actually Bjorn. Bjorn has 7. I'm pretty sure Bjorn won every single one he signed up for. So he's got 7 wins. Cristiano also has 7. So they're tied. Bjorn and Cristiano, they're tied. Unfortunately, this week, neither Bjorn or Cristiano signed up, so they're not here to reprise their role. As Adept is going to shade into the main base, Cyclones have been revealed. We spoke about this Cyclone build, and we are reactoring out 2 Cyclones at a time, and the goal here again is to pull Nice apart. Now, we do have a shield battery in the main, we have a shield battery at the natural, we have a void ray on the way. It was a Stargate opener. That is a little bit brutal. It is harder to defend these 2 locations with a Stargate opener, just because anything that comes out of a Stargate is vulnerable to the Cyclone. Speaking of being vulnerable, the Cyclones, they catch out the Adept. They do catch both Adepts out on the map. Big pickups there by Nicoract. Shuts down both Adepts. We do head towards that natural. Void Ray does arrive. We will force this back. Oh, we get a kill on 1 Cyclone. Good pickup. Again, the shield battery did help. Did sustain that Void Ray, but we are amassing more Cyclones. And we're not stopping, by the way. We have additional Cyclones on the way. Viking as well. Nicoract, his aggression still has not ended. As it looks like we will be able to force a cancel on the pylon. Likewise, Reaper harassing on the right-hand side. Nice, trying to keep up here. Looks like so far he does. Nicoract just waiting for his reinforcements, waiting for his Cyclones and Vikings. Saturating his natural base, getting it up and running. The army a bit exposed, no shield battery within range. But we have the prismatic alignment, and ooh, that was a brutal fight there from Nicoract. He committed, he lost all of his Cyclones. At the same time, a little bit distracted. He's going to be harassing on the right-hand side. But that was a big loss. That was a big loss there for Nicoract. Again, just overextended with all of his Cyclones, loses almost every single one, and Nice's health. Things are still a little bit awkward for him, especially with his build of choice. Like the Stargate, he has no Oracles to harass, he has no Phoenixes to keep up. It's a very strange kind of game state that we're in, where Nice is harassing with Void Rays, which isn't really seen in this matchup, but we have them. So we're moving out with a couple of Void Rays, with a couple of Stalkers. Again, we have lost a lot of momentum here from the side of Nicoract. He should be safe on 2 bases for now. And Nice, he recognizes that as well. He does back off. But we are just settling on in. Well, he kills the Ursadak. No! How could you? Este Nice. He's an animal. Oh no. I mean, that Ursadak is quite annoying. What is it? It's an Ursadon? Or Ursadak? Ursatusk? It's Ursa something. It's like a primal Ursadon. We'll see it. Regardless, was killed. It can be annoying because its unit hitbox is quite large, so it can like kind of mess up your micro and mess up your movement. Scan reveals a third that Nice is expanding. Do we have one on this side? We should. It's somewhere. It's roaming. And oh my god! Nice! He's rushing into a fleet beacon. He's crazy. Okay, so we're making Colossi here on 3 bases. We're rushing towards a fleet beacon. I think this is just for Mothership. I think we're just racing into a Mothership here. But this is, again, very unorthodox from Nice. He's cooking, Papi. He's cooking. Let him cook. Let him cook. As Nicoract, he's going to be pushing behind this. 3rd CC is on the way. The move out is spotted by the Observer, so Nice he sees, he's getting in position. We're just seeing more Colossi, more Phoenixes. So he's transitioning into Phoenix Colossus. Fleet Beacon is done. Phoenix range is on the way, okay. He is committing to multiple Phoenixes, or mass Phoenix, I should say. Nicoract, he does end up throwing the needle, he does take down the shield battery, but the tanks are looking a bit exposed, and they will be lifted. Yeah, the Phoenixes, they pop off. We try to focus down the Colossus, but we won't be able to. Yeah, massive fight here in favor of Nice. Cleans up the tanks, cleans up the army. Again, it was a brutal push there from Nicoract, and he is going to be shut down. You saw that he tried to focus down the Colossi, which means that he left the Phoenixes alone. They were able to keep those tanks CC'd. And we are rushing into carriers. The Sky Toss, it's coming. Oh boy. We're getting into Sky Toss here. I mean, Nicoract, behind this, he does have a 3rd that he can fall back on. Can get into that 3rd base. We do have a starport on the way. That is true. As Nicoract, he is going to be getting that 3rd base up and running. But the problem is that after that failed push, Nicoract, he's stuck at home. This is the problem here, is that he's stuck at home, he can't be active anymore, and Nice, he's freely expanding and freely taking into Skyjolls. Like, Nice, he is just fully taking advantage of the failed attack there of Nicoract. Taking up so hard, and he can't be punished, or it's difficult to punish him. Nicoract gonna move out with a drop. He is moving out with drop play. Nicoract, he rotates over towards the right hand side. We have a Bio Army towards the left. Up. Juice him on forward. Get a shield battery. Get a shield battery, get a pylon, back up. So far, not bad. Not bad damage dealt there by Nicoract. Gonna be pulling back. You know, getting a couple of pickoffs here and there. I believe he did see the carriers, and yeah, we're making nothing but Vikings, nothing but Ghost Academy. So the goal here, the hope, I think, is that we're able to pull apart this army. if Nicoract can try to pull Nice apart, slip into a main base, get into a mineral line, pick off some workers, pick off a Colossus. The problem is that Nice, he's already split up. He's got 2 Colossi on the left, he's got carriers on the right. He already has a pre-split army, and the scan does reveal that. Nicoract putting Nice's multitasking to the test, and so far he's keeping up. And we have Phoenix's stopping to kind of drop as well. Like, we're so heavily fortified here. Like, we have an army at each base, and we're denying drops. Nicoract doesn't find a way in. Now, thankfully, Nicoract doesn't force the issue. Thankfully, he doesn't overextend and commit here into one of these bases. He's going to be pulling back, focusing down those rocks. See Nicoract just rotating around. Now, both players are about to max. That is true, but Nice's army is still of high quality. Doesn't have Storm, thankfully. Nice doesn't have Storm. He does have Colossi. We go for the scan. Nicoract threatens a push. Is going to bleed out a couple of Vikings. Yeah, bleeding out a lot of Vikings, actually. Yeah, forced to stay in. Nicoract plummeting in supply, and every single Viking going to be going down. This was not the fight we were looking for. Yeah, nice. He's snowballing out of control. He's chasing this down. Nicoract, he was about to max out, but how many Vikings did we lose? 12. That was 12 Vikings falling there as Nicoract was trying to kite back. Those were some brutal losses. And now Nicoract has to just build up from the beginning. He has to just restart his Viking production. Does have to restart. We just see Nicoract still being active here on the right, at least. Doing what he can. There is a chance, again, on Hecate, these bases are quite spread out. If we can deny some bases, if we can force a mistake out of Nice, then there is a possibility, but that's the only possibility. That's the only chance here, is if we force some mistakes. Gonna get some gateways. Pick up some zealots. We're gonna deny top left. Something that I would have liked a little bit more here is if Nicoract was more greedy. If he was being if he was harassing like this, but also double expanding. Now he's getting a 5th, but the 5th does feel late. But compared to the map control that he had. As we catch the army! Not like this. We get 1, we get 2 Vikings. We get all the Vikings here in the end. Brutal losses there from Nicoract. As Nicoract is going to be pulling back. Nice building up. Here we go, nice. He is pushing forward. He's going to focus on that orbital. Yeah, and there just is not enough here on the ground or in the sky. The Viking count was reset multiple times. And nice, he's snowballing out of control. GG gets called. And nice, we'll take game number 1. GG. Again, Nicoract, his aggression earlier on did fail, and nice. He took full advantage of the failed aggression there from Nicoract. Was able to just race into that sky toss. Was able to race into that sky toss and snowball out of control from there. And now we're getting into game number 2. Oh boy, here we go. Nicoract, he does have a chance here to bounce back. Do you want to believe? Do you want to believe here? As we're getting ready for game number 2. And game number 2, as a reminder, is going to be on Oceanborn. Now, what I will say is that how that game played out is very unique to the game state. Very rarely do you ever see a Protoss player able to get away with rushing into carrier like that. Like, again, the the kind of the events that unfolded there were quite unique, and it allowed Nice to really just snowball out of control and pop off. Did allow him to pop off. And with that, Nice takes the first game. But now we're getting into game 2, and I imagine Nicoract will be taking a different approach. He had a good start. Remember, he was able to eBay block, he was able to force the unnatural natural, he was able to get some damage done early on with his Cyclones, but then he lost his Cyclones, and the first push failed. Like, that was just a couple too many things going wrong too quickly there early on for Nicoract. But again, I'm sure we're going to be seeing a very different dynamic here in game number 2. Here we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the blue Protoss player from the land of Taiwan, leading the series 1-0, representing Team Little Fairy. But again, it's still best of 5. We still have plenty more games ahead of us. It is Nice. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Terran player representing Team Platinum Heroes, or representing the Platinum Heroes. Down in this series, looking to bounce back, it is Nicoract. Now, if you remember, Nicoract, he also took a loss in game 1 against Ashbringer, and then he bounced back. Then he was able to just overcome and able to snowball out of control and take Ashbringer down with that momentum. I want to believe that we can see a back and forth here against Nice. And again, I don't think game 1 really tells us too much about our players, outside of the fact that if you slip up against Nice, if you make a mistake, if you lose too much too early on, he will just take up so quickly. Nice did prove that at least. And he can be a difficult player to read. Just because Nice, he's a little bit more of a chaotic player in general when it comes to his builds and his playstyle. So we'll see how that does unfold. For the time being, it is going to be a double gas opener out of Nicoract, so it's going to be a faster factory, a delayed command center from our blue Terran player. He wants to be aggressive, he wants to be assertive, he wants to be in the face of Nice. And there it is, a factory is on the way. Factory is going to be on the way here. And from here, we're just going to be building up. Just going to be building up. Likewise, Nicoract moving out across the map. And now with this faster factory opener, this can lead into either Reaper Hellion, could lead into Cyclones, could lead into a mine drop that's more committed. We have options for Nicoract. Last time we saw this build, or this opener, Nicoract did go Reaper Hellion, and there it is. Hellions are on the way. We're going to be reactivating out Reapers as well. Does seem to be Reaper Hellion again out of Nicoract. And there it is. We're making 2 Reapers at a time. Now, this should just be a triple Reaper, double Hellion push. We can commit a little bit harder. It's up to Nicoract. As Nice is going for a Stargate. It's going to be a Stargate opener out of our Protoss. Just amassing his army, getting his CC on the high ground just to be safe and secure against the initial adept. Oh! Ooh, we do shade in. We do manage to slip into the main base, and we do commit to the shade as well. We got eyes on the 1-1-1. We got eyes on the Reaper Hellion. We kill 1 SCV, but Nice is now fully aware of what's going on. And back at home, he's preparing. Shield batteries on the way. Oracle's being produced, and it might choose to stay at home. We could just try to hunt down these initial units. As Nicoract, he is going into Widow Mines behind this. He is setting up for the mine drop. Nicoract yet to scout the main base. Doesn't know what he's walking into, but he does run past the Stalker. It dives into the main. There is an Oracle lying in wait. We do focus down one of the Hellions. The other gets a full scout. Oracle chases down the Reapers. Reapers are going to be chased down, and the Hellion gets a full scout, but won't get much done. This is a rough start for Nicoract. He invested a lot into the initial Reaper Hellion. He invested quite a bit here to get some damage done and didn't get any probes. He got a scout, but that's all he got. That's all he was able to accomplish. As Nice is just building up towards 3 gateways. A Void Ray product. Once again, getting into the Void Ray. It's really interesting. It's very unique here for Nice. Getting into Void Rays early on. Mind Drop is coming in. Oracles are across the map. They're coming in for some harass. Nicoract is in position. Does force back those Oracles. Likewise, Marines are in the middle line. When Mind Drop comes in, do we react? No! No reaction! Big shots. Oh my god, massive connections here in the main base. 12 probes go down, and suddenly, Nicoract, he's looking good. Suddenly, you know, the failed Hellion Reaper micro, the failed Hellion Reaper harassment, it doesn't matter. Not anymore. We pop off, we get 12 workers in the main, and we keep those Widow Mines alive. That's what matters here. The Mind Drop is still up and running. It's still kicking. For not much longer, though. Void Ray is coming in. Medevac, yeah, we can boost away. We can boost back home. Meanwhile, Nicoract building up towards his eventual Stim push. +1. Stim is on the way. Cyclones as well. Or we have our initial Cyclone just to keep us safe. And we're getting into early tank production. Interesting. This looks like a 2-base push. This looks like a pretty committed 2-base push here as we're building up the tanks. We'll see when and if Nicoract does throw down the third. Meanwhile, an observer just parked in between the bases, keeping an eye on things. Mind Drop coming back in. Hey, he's crazy. Nice, he did it in game 1, and I spoke about how Nice was able to pull it off because Nicoract lost so much. Despite the economic damage dealt, Nice, he's still rushing into the fast fleet peak, and he's crazy. He's lost his mind. Someone stop this man. Mind Drop comes in. Nice. This time he reacts. This time he does pull away. We're not going to get much damage done. Not this time. We do manage to get one more probe, but the medevac is going to be chased down. Does manage to boost away for a little bit longer, but yeah, there's no escaping the Phoenix. Now, I believe this fleet beacon is for Phoenix range. Just like game 1, right? Question mark? As we are producing Phoenixes and Colossi. Nicoract moving out across the map. We spoke about how, because of the early tank production, it looked like a big committed 2-base push, and that's what it is. The push is upon us. Phoenix range is on the way with Anion Pulse Crystals. Nicoract going for a split push. Trying to get his CC on location. Ooh, Oracles, they get in. There's not much at home to defend. Oh, this is brutal. SCVs are going down. And the stasis, no shot. The stasis catches the tanks. Drop is coming in. We force a recall back home. Let's recall on one of these Colossi. We're going for the dive, but we have an overcharge. Doesn't matter. It doesn't. The Colossus goes down. Big pickup. At the same time, the tanks, they did break free. They survived. The tanks survived. 17 probes go down. We get a Colossus, and we can keep pushing. A very chaotic game state right now. The drop is being cleaned up, but we lost the Colossus, and now we can commit here to the third. And do we have enough to defend? We have a lot of Phoenixes, but only one Colossus. We have anything on the ground? Barely. Barely a ground army. Yeah, the tanks, they're within range. Shelling away at the Nexus. We might have to pull the boys. So far, good target firing, but we lift up the tanks. And Nice, he's holding. Just barely, he does hold. A very intense moment. But the Phoenix is doing well. They picked up all the tanks. Shut down the medevacs. Nice pulls back. And where's the third base? Okay, we do have it. Whew. We do have a third base. Nicoract could be landing here on location. Keep me up in the economy. Is keeping up. Phoenixes are going to be able to get an SCV here in between the bases. They do slow down some of the production. keeping an eye on things. Nice. I feel like he's overextending. We're making carriers. We have a Tempest. We have like a random Tempest, a random carrier. This army, it's so high tech, but it's so vulnerable here. Like, look at the army composition right now. We have 1 Colossus, 1 Stalker, 1 Adept, 1 Void Ray, 1 Temp, 1 of everything. We do have additional Phoenixes. Now we have a 2nd Colossus, but still, like, this army, it's so bare bones. Like, Nicoract, we can punish this. We can try. We're going for the scan. Shield battery just now finishing up here at the natural. Remember, we do have an overcharge defensively. Nice, he can take a fight back at home. But now forcing Nicoract back. I feel like Nicoract has to be careful not to be too aggressive. Like, I feel like we can just calm things down, make a wave of Vikings, make a wave of Ghosts, and then push with everything we have. But you can see that Nicoract, he's tempted. He's so tempted to commit. He's going for it. And there we go. He's going to catch one of the Colossi. Does get a kill. He gets one. He's going for the other. And it looks like he will get the 2nd Colossus as well. Big pickoffs from Nicoract. But nothing shoots up. It's mainly a Marauder army. The Marauders are racing back home. Those are some good pickoffs from Nicoract, but they were costly. Lead out a Medevac. Medevac for a Phoenix, not bad. Vikings have arrived, and this is the anti-air we were waiting for. Vikings, Ghosts, Marines. Like, Nicoract, he knows he's so close. He knows he's so close to breaking his opponent. Likewise, though, we're making 2 carriers at a time. If Nice can survive, if he can get this 4th base up and running, he's going to snowball out of control. Like, he will just get out of hand with the Sky Toss. Like, it feels like we're on a knife's edge right now. We're playing on a knife's edge. Which way will this fall? Can Nicoract break Nice? Overcharge is popped. We have to respect it. We do have to respect the overcharge. Going for the scan. How many Colossi? We have 2. 2 Colossi. Vikings are still on the way. Sorry, carriers are still on the way. Yeah, we dive on the army. Big EMP. We focus on one of the Colossi. We get the carrier as well. And we will get the 2nd Colossi. And it looks like Nicoract, he's barely breaking through. We have 2 more reinforcing Colossi though. And the Tempest. Do we have enough anti-air? We don't. We don't have enough anti-air. The Marauders, they're going ham in the mineral line. They're killing as many probes as they can. Because they will all fall. Yeah, we clean up the Marauders. We get 10 probe kills. That's okay. We did clean up the ground army. That's true. But what about the carriers? We have 2. We're about to have 4. Yeah, we're about to have 4 carriers here. Again, Nicoract, once again, he knows he's so close. He's now getting his 4th. He's like, why don't you just die? Like, you have so little. I know that I can kill you. I'm so close. I don't think he can anymore. There's not enough anti-air. There's only Marines. Like, only a handful of Marines. Yeah, the Tempest survived. Carriers are going ham. Thankfully, we're only bleeding out Marines. But I think Nice has made it. He's done it. What I mean by that is, I think Nice, he's stabilized on 4 bases. I don't think he can be broken anymore. I think we've hit critical mass of carrier, like, for the time being. And Nicoract, he has to back off. And there we go. We have a 5th CC on the way. We're getting the 4th up and running. We have an armory for the armory for ship upgrades, I imagine. For ship weapons. And ship armor. We're having a longer game. It's happening. The rotation is spotted by the observer. Nice, does see. Nicoract rotating around. Is rotating around. He is making 4 liberators at a time back at home. Is amassing libs. Is amassing liberators, and yeah, from here he is still just building up. Nice, he's taking a 5th base. That is dangerous. I'm not so certain that Nicoract can allow this base to get up and running. We need to be active. We need to shut this down. Meanwhile, the Skytoss, it's here. We have 6 carriers, a Tempest. We're about to have 8 carriers, more Colossi on the way. I would love to see Storm. I'd love to see a Storm here for Nice. As Nicoract, he has to embrace the late game. He was unable to kill his opponents, and when it comes to late game here, we should be going into a heavy Ghost composition. Ghost, Lib, Viking. That's really what we're working with. And of course, Bio. But Ghost, Lib, Viking. The Liberators, they zone away the ground army, where there's High Templar or Colossi, and we need a lot of Vikings to deal with these carriers. I'm worried that we don't have enough Vikings. We only have 6. Yeah, that's not enough. We do need an extra wave of Vikings. We do get eyes on the 5th. Gonna come into harass to try to pick it apart. Scan reveals the carriers in position. As else they do clean up that drop or that run by. We're still making libs. Again, libs are amazing against ground toss, but against Skytoss we need more Vikings, and we're still making even more. I'm not convinced. How many Liberators do we have? 17! Wait, what? We have 17 Liberators! Are we just gonna... wait. Is our plan to kill the Interceptors? Is that our plan? To kill all the Interceptors? Will this work? Yeah, we are. We're going with the Libs. EMPs on the carriers and the mass Lib. Will this work out? It looks like it kind of is. No, it's not. The mass Lib, it does not break through. We shut down the main army. Nicoract, he does crumble here, and we're snowballing out of control. Again, mass Lib against Skytoss. For a moment, he had me believing. I was like, yo, is he going to try and, like, splash damage all the Interceptors to death? That's not what happened. He dove on top of the carriers themselves. Again, we only had 6 Vikings. We had 17 Liberators. And that just doesn't work out, unfortunately. Again, the DPS, the damage output of those Liberators on single targets, it's just not high enough. Not anti-air, I should say. Against the ground, sure, but that's not what this is about. It's not about the ground, it's about the air. And we're still making more libs. Yeah, well, there we go. Ship weapons level 2 on the way here for Nicoract. And yeah, I just like I understand. Freedom is a good thing, right? You know, liberation, the freedom, it's all here, it's all well and good. That's true, but freedom only really works against anything on the ground. We can't liberate the air. It's not possible. It doesn't happen that way. It doesn't work that way. The problem is the carriers, they're already free. They've already been liberated. As we're still making more libs. 15 up to 16, soon to be 20 Liberators. Here we go. As Nicoract getting ready for this next fight, potentially the final fight of the game. Nice pushing forward. Again, the libs are doing what they can. They're trying to focus on whatever's in the air, but they tickle the army. Yeah, the libs, they all fall. GG gets called, and Nice will take game number 2, taking a lead in the series. GG. GG. 2 games in a row here. Nice rushing into Skytoss, and you could see that Nicoract, he was so close to breaking Nice earlier. Where Nice, he was like holding on by the skin of his teeth, barely defending with his carrier, with his like handful of Colossi. He did pull it off. And this mass lib style from Nicoract was interesting, is what I will say. It was an interesting choice. Clearly did not work though. I like that we're trying different things, but as we saw there, fighting head to head with carrier with mass lib is not it's difficult to make work, is what I will say. I'll phrase it that way. Is difficult to make work. as we're getting ready for game number 3. Here we go. And game number 3 is going to be on hard lead. Now, I'm hoping that we can get it back and forth. I'm hoping that we can extend this series, but it doesn't come down to our players here. Comes down to Nicoract. Can we bounce back? Will Nice go Skytoss again 3 games in a row? Again, this is a very unique style out of Nice, and it is a little bit brutal. Just because, like, if you can get away with it, you can see how heavily things can swing in your favor if you can get into that Skytoss. Again, not something you see too often. We go. We're getting into game number 3. I think yeah, we're just waiting for our players to ready up, and then we're going to be loading into hard lead. Here we go. Game number 3 here. And yeah, this playstyle from Nice has been brutal. But what I will say is that hard lead is a small map. It is a small map. Short rush distance by ground. I want to believe that Nicoract can bounce back here and now with some aggression. Again, short rush distance by ground. You can be very assertive on this map. We've seen a lot of Terran players go for 2 base all-ins as well. Here we go. We are settling in. As a reminder, it's a best of 5. I see some people asking in the chat. It is a best of 5 finals. And we're getting into game number 3. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of hard lead, we have our Taiwanese Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Team Little Fairy. 1 game away from becoming this week's Sparkling Tuna Cup champion. It is Nice. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Terran player, representing the Platinum Heroes. He has to fight back here and now to extend this series, have a chance at forcing the ace match. It is Nicoract. That's why libs don't work in actual game. Be careful, be careful. So Liberators work amazingly in PvT, but they're obviously, you're not supposed to mass them up to go up against something like Skytoss. Ideally, Liberators, they work amazingly when it comes to zoning back the ground army, whether it's High Templar, whether it's Colossi. A ground-based army can struggle against Liberators. But the dynamic does shift when you incorporate Skytoss. It does shift quite heavily there. And you do have to rely a lot more on Vikings. I did see someone in the chat talking about BCs. That is true when we get to the ultra late game. If we have a much more passive game, and if you have a little bit more time, or if you have more momentum, then you can get into something like BCs. That is true. But in the interim, you do have to rely on EMPs and Vikings and outpositioning your opponents and maneuvering and being very active on the map. Unfortunately, it's something that Nicoract just wasn't able to get into. And it did feel like he was a step behind against Nice there. But again, a big reason for that is because Nicoract was intending to break Nice before he could get into Skytoss. Remember, winding it back to the last game, Nicoract, he was so aggressive, he was so in Nice's face, hoping to kill him as he had like 2 carriers out. But Nice survived. That's the problem. He survived the aggression of Nicoract, and then he got into his game. Nicoract wasn't able to stop him. And to be fair, like, I don't blame Nicoract just because this playstyle from Nice is very unique. Like, I'll be honest, we cast quite a lot on this channel, and we don't see other players quite like this. The closest that I can say is Classic. Classic is also one that rushes into Skytoss, but only when he gets an advantage. And that's it's still like a rarity in PvT. But Classic, if you watch his games, he does do it from time to time, where he goes into a fast fleet beacon and into fast carriers. We saw that recently against Bjorn. We saw it recently against Kior. In the ESL Open Cup Asia. It was a couple of weeks ago. So Classic plays similarly. But Nice has been heavily relying on this, and it's not something you see too often on the European server. I don't know many European pros that do this. Like, I don't see Showtime, Skillus, or MaxPax playing quite like Nice. Classic, sure, but I'm unfamiliar with the European pro doses. Ooh, as I do appreciate this from Nicoract. He's going to be opening up with a more economic opener into a 3 racks. It is going to be a racks expand, single gas opener for the first time here in this series, something more economic into a 3 racks. But Nice, he's reading this so well. Oh my, he's going for a Robo. Okay, sorry, Stargate into Robo. Okay. He's going Stargate into Robo. This looks like maybe Phoenix Colossus again, 3 games in a row. Oracle is moving out, and we should get a scout. The Oracle, it will get a read on everything. Does see all 3 Vaxes, does confirm Stim, of course, and the Marauders. So now Nice knows to be ready back at home. And how do we prepare for this? Given the tech, given the production, we should be going for a Safety Immortal into Obey, into Colossus production. Ideally, Nice would also like to be a little bit proactive with his army. And there it is, there's the Immortal on the way. So usually this Immortal is skipped, but because Nice scouted, because he knows that Nicoract is going to be aggressive with a Stim timing, he needs the Immortal. He needs that Safety Immortal. We need a Shield Battery. Shield Battery is done. We could even throw down a second Shield Battery as well. And we should be able to hold on to our 2 bases. And then get into Colossus production. We'll see if Nicoract can break him. Here we go, Nicoract. He's still just building up his forces, getting ready for his push. Now, what's important here is that Nicoract can transition out of this. If he moves out, and if Nicoract, if he sees this army, if he judges that he cannot break this, he can pivot away, take a 3rd base, and work on a medevac drop instead, and work on like a follow-up timing. So, Nicoract, he isn't all in by any means. It is a committed push, that is true, and there's a lot of potential with this army. Ooh, as Nice is taking a 3rd, by the way, Nicoract, he can punish this. Because Nice, he's actually moving out of range of his Shield Battery, which means he won't have an overcharge. Nice. Nicoract, he does catch the Oracle. And we can see Nice pull back towards that Shield Battery. Towards that natural base. He's going to be engaging, but we can stim on forward. We can focus down the Adepts one after the other. The Adepts are falling, and this is not the fight that Nice is looking for. Fighting out of range of the Shield Battery, out of range of the overcharge, and Nicoract, he pops off. He breaks through, takes down the Shield Battery. And he should be able to cancel this 3rd. He could even get the Colossus. He stimmed. Did stim on the 3rd base. That is a cancel. Dives on the Colossi. Shouldn't get it. But that was still a very good trade for Nicoract. Again, looking at the battle report, he lost 12 Marines, 6 Marauders for an Immortal, for 7 Adepts, for a canceled 3rd base, more importantly, keeping Nice contained to 2 bases. And he even dealt some hull damage, quite a bit of hull damage to the Colossus. Once again, fast fleet beacon. Oh my, he's crazy. So, on the one hand, it was a good push. It was a very good push by Nicoract. He achieved a lot. It was great. Nice, he's still putting Nicoract on a timer. +1 air attack is on the way. Fleet beacon, 2nd Stargate. 3 games in a row. Nice, he's trying to rush into Skytoss. And just like the previous games, Nicoract is on a bit of a timer because there's a window. There's a window where Nice is vulnerable, but that window is eventually going to close. As Nice is being far too aggressive. Oh man, he's crazy. As he's moving out with a handful of units, not quite punished for it, but being very assertive. Trying to keep Nicoract on the back foot. I do like this from Nice. He has to try to keep the pressure up and make sure that Nicoract backs off. Here we go. That's Nice. He is going to be backing off for a moment here. Getting his 3rd base up and running. Now, Nicoract, he should be able to move out soon. Before this first carrier. There we go. We're making 2 carriers at a time. Nicoract is pushing, or he's dropping, I should say. Is going for a drop into the main. Setting up just outside, taking control of the Zonaga. Does see the Adept. He is spotted. But I am concerned here for Nicoract because that's the first two carriers and they're finishing. They're finishing up just in time. I'm getting some deja vu of game 2. Scan reveals the army, reveals the base. Again, very little to support these Colossi. Nicoract, he sees. He wants it. And there was very little to support the Colossi until the carriers arrived. And they are banking up in the main. They're not with the carriers they're not with the Colossi at the moment. They're not there. Immortal is spotted. We go for the dive. We do get a snipe. Immortal goes down. Carriers, they are revealed once again. Oh, and these Marines are going to be going down. The medevacs will go down as well. Big pick up here by Nice. At the same time, Nicoract pushing towards the left-hand side. Carriers are out of position, but we have an overcharge. Yeah, we have the Colossi, we have the overcharge. Nice defense. He defends, he takes the fourth. And he's looking solid. Meanwhile, Nicoract. Now, what's important here, which I do appreciate, fourth base, on location. This is what I wanted in game 2. As soon as you realize what's going on, as soon as you realize that Nice is building up a high carrier count and he's being tech heavy, be greedy, right? Take a fourth base, take a double expand, take a fifth base, take up into a Ghost Academy. We're getting into Viking production. This time, we're not rushing into Liberators. Vikings are amassing. 3-3s on the way. Even though Nicoract doesn't break Nice, even though he has to back off, Nicoract, he's doing quite a lot with this time. He's building up, getting a better army, getting a better economy. And because of that, Nicoract maintains his lead. Like, this is a much more decisive play here out of Nicoract. As he catches the carrier. Oh, almost. Almost does get one. Not punished too hard. At the same time, pushing towards the center of the map. Not quite able to push in either. Bleeding out some Marines. Oh, nice. He wants some of those Vikings. He wants the Vikings. Or a Ghost, or anything. Meanwhile, Nice is here extending a little bit here. We do have 4 carriers. We have 2 Colossi. But here come the Viking reinforcements. Good EMP. Good EMP here on the carriers. We can focus on the Colossi one after the other. But what about the carriers? This is where the Vikings come in. And this time, Mass Viking, not Liberator. And we can focus on every single carrier. This is what we were missing in the last game. Do you have a Zella run by? Sorry, Adept counterattack. Getting some SCVs, but that was a much more decisive fight there out of Nicoract. In general, I do appreciate that it does feel like Nicoract, he's been learning. Like, over the course of this series, because Nice has been playing the same way every single game, Nicoract has been adjusting, has been adapting. And he's coming in. Gets on top of the Mothership, focuses it down. Mothership does fall. The Vikings, they lay it. Oh my god. There we go. Vikings, they do lift up. We're going for the final carrier. And we are extending this series. It's not going to be over. It's not going to be 3-0. GG gets called. And Nicoract, he takes game number 3. Let's go. GG. Whew. We have a series. We have a series on our hands. That's all I ever wanted. That's all what I had hoped for. And yeah, with that, GG, congratulations. The series continues. The finals does continue. Let's go. And the next game, game number 4, is going to be on Alcyone. Now, what's important here is a couple of things. Nice, he's been playing the same style, right? Stargate Opener into Colossus into Carrier. Right, into Sky Toss. He's been playing like variations of this every game so far in this series. Doesn't need to do this every game though. That's what I will say, right? It's like, Nice, he is not a one-trick pony. He definitely has a more diverse play up his sleeve. He can go into Blink Stalker based play, into Charge Lots, into more heavy Robo based play instead. Nice, he can play differing styles. So I'm curious how how he adjusts. It's his turn. It's his turn to adjust here to Nicoract. Because clearly, if we do the same thing again, Nicoract, he's getting better and better at responding. is getting better and better at responding here. So I'm curious. Nice. What do you have? What do you got? What do you have for us? Let's go. As we're getting into game number 4. Players, they just needed a moment. Did need a moment. Here we go. We're getting into game 4. Alcyone, a much larger map. Ooh, that's a little bit concerning. So Alcyone, it's quite a large map, has a lot of base to be taken. It is very macro-oriented. If Nice wanted to go into Fast Fleet Beacon and Carriers again, this is a pretty good map for it. Not gonna lie. not gonna. If Nice did do the same thing again, this is not a bad map for it. So I am a little bit concerned. I am a little bit concerned here for him, but we'll see. We'll see where this does take us. As we're getting into game number 4 and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alcyone, we have our blue Terran player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Nicoract. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the Taiwanese Protoss, the red Protoss player representing Team Little Fairy. Showing that he can bleed, showing that he is not invulnerable, but he is one game away from becoming our champion. Can he take it all? It is Nice. And as we get into this game, a big shout out to Zergburger 007. Oh, Fappy. Oh my god, shaken. Not stirred. Thank you so much. Zergburger 007, thank you so much for subscribing for 2 months. Gracias, papi, gracias. Hope you enjoy the content. Hope you enjoy the tournaments, the casting, the channel. Thank you so much for the support. And enjoy your emotes, enjoy your replay packs. For those that are curious, if you want the replays of these games, if you want the replays of this entire tournament, then we do give those replays out to our subscribers. So if you're interested, we do have benefits for our subscribers. Otherwise, thank you for the support. Gracias, papi, gracias. Thank you so much as we're settling on in. Ooh, let's go. Let us go as Nicoract. He is going for an economic opener. It's going to be a single gas. It's going to be a Rax expand out of Nicoract. Something more economic. Meanwhile, Nice going for a gate cyber expand on his side. Pretty tame build so far. Nothing wild, nothing crazy. Not yet. Not yet, but it's coming. Let me tell you. As for now, we're just going to be scouting each other, just confirming that there is no hidden proxy, there's no proxy pylon or anything like that. Nicoract making sure that Nice is playing standard. And back at home, Nicoract getting his base on location, going for his Reaper scout as a follow-up. Purpose of this Reaper is to harass the mineral lines, yes, but also to get a scout off and to get a read on whether it's a Stargate, a Robo, or a Twilight Council. We do need to figure out what is going on and what is coming up next. As we can see, Stargate opener. Stargate opener here out of Nice. Nicoract, he does bypass the Adept. He slips in. And a big scout here. Nicoract, he does get eyes on the Stargate. So far, so good. He's aware of the build behind this. Oh, it is going to be a factory follow-up. Not a 3 racks. So racks into factory. Now, Nicoract has an option. He could go for a 2nd and a 3rd racks before Starport. But again, the rush distance by ground, it's difficult to really pull off 2 base all-ins on this map. Yeah, Starport's on the way. It's difficult to pull off 2 base all-ins because of the Zonaga. The Zonaga does control the center attack path. So it's very easy to take control of this and to scout any kind of push or any kind of all-in. Likewise, the 3rd and 4th base are very defendable. There's a ramp coming into the 3rd. You can mine through these minerals and expand towards the right-hand side into the 4th. And it's quite awkward to actually push here early on. So as a result, we have seen some longer games. Have seen longer games here. We'll see that if that continues to be the case. Oh, behind this, it's going to be interesting. Stargate not into Robo, but into a Twilight Council. This looks like charge. I mean, it could be Blink as well, but this is different. This is quite different to what we've seen so far. So Nice, he is varying things up. Okay. So we have the first Oracle getting across the map. Cyclone is in position. Oracle tries to dive in, but yeah, it's going to be forced back. He gets a Revelation off instead. Oracle doesn't get any damage done. Meanwhile, it is going to be Blink. Blink is on the way. We have a Gateway Explosion. It's going to be 4-gate Blink out of Nice. But this is not your standard 4-gate Blink. He's hitting a Void Ray. He's crazy. It's 4-gate Blink with a Void Ray. So I was going to say that this is going to hit later than normal. A classic 4-gate Blink would be a Twilight Council opener. But the Twilight Council was delayed. Blink is delayed. The 4-gate Blink is going to be delayed here, but that may also catch Nicoract off guard. So Nicoract, he needs to scout. He needs to get a read on what's going on. As Nice is going to be expanding. So this is not going to be a big 2-base all-in, but it's going to be committed nonetheless. And what I can say here is that at least Nice, he isn't embracing Skytoss again for a 4th time. As Nicoract, he is pushing on 2 bases. Does pull a couple of boys to repair, to throw down bunkers. The first tank has arrived. Unfortunately for Nicoract, Nice has an army. At least some units. Oracle's popping up, getting some SCVs across the map, but we are committed. And we go for another warp in. Remember, because of the 4 gateways, we can reinforce back at home. The tank, though, it does siege. Blink isn't done, and we cancel the 3rd. We do cancel the 3rd base, but Nicoract, he does bleed out 6 SCVs back at home. And can he commit? Can he keep pushing? Gets the Void Ray. The tanks are slowly pushing forward. Getting within range of the of the gateways. Tanks getting a lot of damage done. Vikings gonna be landing. We're slowly leapfrogging forward. This was designed to kill a player that was committed into Phoenixes. But again, it's not Phoenixes, it is Blink Stalkers. It is Blink Stalkers. That's a lot of Stalkers. How many? 12. 12 Stalkers in total. Nicoract forcing his way in. Busting through the gateways. We dive on top of the tanks. 1 tank goes down. So will the 2nd, but we bleed out far too much, and it looks like Nicoract is snowballing out of control. This is just too much damage. 4 Stalkers remain. And we can only warp in 2 at a time. It was 4-gate Blink, but 2 gateways died. Yeah, we are sieging up. Yeah, GG gets called. Nicoract, he has far too much. He breaks his opponents. And we're going to the ace match. GG. Whew. GG, well played. We're going all the way to game number 5. Again, Nice. He did try to vary things up, but in general, something that Nice's play. Oh, sorry, I have to fix this. Something that Nice's playstyle struggles against, as you can imagine. As we're getting ready for the ace match, hold on. What is the final map? Something that that build struggles against, specifically because we start with the Stargate, because we delay the Twilight Council, and we delay the additional gateways, it does slow down, it does leave you vulnerable in the early game. Just because, like, your initial tech didn't really do anything, right? Like, the Stargate was for an Oracle that killed SCVs, but we didn't commit into additional Phoenixes. We are lacking an army to work with, which is why things very quickly escalated out of control. We shut down the 3rd, and then we got on top of the production, we killed those gateways, and that did deal quite a dent to the army here of Nice. He was broken. His build was punished. And with that, we're going to game 5. Here we go. We're going all the way to game number 5 here. It's going to be on Equilibrium. A crazy map, by the way. Are we going to rush into the gold? Are we rushing into the gold base? Oh boy, I'm here for it. I'm ready for it. Let's go. Let us go. As you can hear the beeps, and it all ends here. And I'm happy to say that, you know, we've made it all the way to the ace match. That's always all I want out of our finals in these tournaments. A back and forth between the players. You can see them learn and adapt over time, adjust to each other throughout the series. But there can only be one. There can only be one champion. And who's it going to be, our Terran or our Protoss? Here we go. Spawning in the top right-hand corner of Equilibrium, we have our Taiwanese Protoss player. The red Protoss representing Team Little Fairy, being forced into the ace match despite having a 2-0 lead. Things very quickly slipping through his fingers. Can he get a grasp? Can he hold on? It is nice. Can he bring it back? And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Terran player representing the Platinum Heroes. Coming back from the brink, winning 2 games in a row, forcing the ace match. Is he going to pull a soul key? Is he going to pull off a reverse sweep? Something very rarely done. 1 game away from pulling it off. It is Nicoract. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, I see what you... Hold on. I see what you did there. Someone saying in the chat, this looked like a blowout, but here we are with the 2-2. Very nice. I mean, 1, nice. But yeah, again, it's simply because, especially game 1 was brutal. Game 1 was nice, actually getting into his sky toss, like in full control, killing SCVs early on. Like, game 1 was very much so in favor of Nice. But again, I do feel like part of this series was also Nicoract adjusting to Nice. Again, Nice is a very unique stylistic player, and I'm sure they rarely face off. I mean, they don't play on the ladder, obviously, as Nicoract plays on EU, Nice plays on Korea, so they're not too familiar with each other in that sense, only in competitive tournaments. And, you know, what are the chances that they face off against each other very often, right? It's like in ESL Open Cups and in online tournaments, it's more of a rarity. So especially at the pro level, I do feel like that's a big factor, is knowing or having an idea of how your opponent plays, so you can kind of adjust and use that to kind of dictate how you want to open up and your builds of choice and your play style as well. That is a factor. As once again, it's going to be a Stargate opener. Meanwhile, Nicoract going for a Rax Expand, a more economic opener out of Nicoract into that factory. Reaper does slip into the main. And Nicoract, he hasn't seen the tech yet, but he rotates around and he does get eyes on the Stargate. He sees, he knows. Nicoract, he's fully aware of what's going on. Nice, going to be moving out with his Adept, trying to harass, trying to disrupt the economy here of his opponent in some way, shape, or form. We'll see if he can. He does get across the map. He is going to be threatening that shade. Oh. It's going to be threatening that shade. Likewise, going to be denying some mining time here at the natural. At the same time, Reaper dives back in. And we're trying to get a read here, whether it's a Phoenix or an Oracle. We confirm it is going to be an Oracle first, once again at a Nice. I don't think he's gone for a Phoenix first at all this series, despite his Stargate openers. It's always been the Oracle. Adept does shade into the main, does delay the starport for a moment. But regardless, Nicoract, he is aware of what's going on. Rushing into a very fast third CC. Oh my god, okay. A very fast third base here out of Nicoract. I kind of like this. So, winding it back a little bit, we're loading into Equilibrium, a very large map. Very large map, a lot of base to be taken. Goal base is available as well. And very often we have seen long games on this map. So for Nicoract to be greedy like this and to rush into a third, I'm standing behind it. Likewise, behind this, Nice, he's going for a faster robo into gateways. This looks like Colossus production. It looks like Colossi. It looks like Nice does want to get into Skytoss again. It feels like the same build. But what I will say is that because Nicoract is embracing something more economic here, he's going to be able to snowball and really, really spread his wings in the mid game. On top of that, Nicoract has been very aggressive this series. He's been hyper aggressive. Time and time again, he's been very in the face of Nice. So, Nice, never mind. I was going to say, without scouting, Nice, I'm sure he's going to be a little bit more timid and a little bit more tentative when it comes to his playstyle here, and he may just be out-greeted. Nicoract, he may be able to take advantage of him. As I say that though, nice, he scouts. Revelation on the CC. Nice, he sees the third base, so he's going into his own. We are going to be rushing into our own third Nexus. Nice, he now knows he can cut some corners. Some, not all, but some. Do you have a safety immortal? Bay is on the way for Colossus production. And again, I would not be surprised if after the first Colossi we throw down a Fleet Beacon. It just feels like this build is designed for that. We'll see. But now Adept going to be shading out across the map. There it is. Even before the first Colossus, before the Bay is even done, I think this is the fastest Fleet Beacon we've had. Right into that Fleet Beacon. But again, a reason for this is because Nice saw the third, so he knows that Nicoract isn't pushing anytime soon. Because he scouted, he knows, cut all the corners. Cut as many corners as we can. Fast Fleet Beacon, we have +1 air attack on the way. Nice, this is his army. He's got one of everything. One Sentry, one Stalker, one Immortal, one Void Ray. Like, if there was a drop, like, he would be in so much trouble. If there was a push, he'd be dead. But again, Nice knows that there isn't going to be one. So, again, Nice, really good scouting, really good responses. I think I want to favor Nice here. I think that rushing into Skytos in such a manner does... It's crazy. But it's a really big power spike. As I say that, I think Nicoract can push first. The Observer does spot the move out. The Observer did spot the move out, so Nice should be getting ready. We should be warping in. And Nicoract, the problem here, as he does snipe the Observer, just barely, the problem here is that he's not moving out yet. And if he doesn't, then Nice will get away with this. So we'll see how Nicoract wants to approach this. Because, again, just like how Skytos isn't a surprise for us, it shouldn't be a surprise for Nicoract either. He should be aware that, like, this is a big possibility. Just because of how the series have been played out. Here we go. So here we go. Nicoract is going to be moving out towards the south. I see in the chat. Fun fact, 13 TvPs in a row Nicoract currently has is the average ladder experience on the EU server. Oh, smooch. I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. But here we go. We do manage to get eyes on the army. We delay the goal base at least. We're diving on top of the Colossus. Nice, late to respond. Big pick off. Delayed reaction out of Nice. We'll be losing that Colossi. Very good pick off there by Nicoract. Goal base is on the way. But losing one Colossus this early on when we have this little to work with is huge. Meanwhile, we already have our first two carriers. They're in the main base. I imagine they're poised to shut down a drop. Nicoract reinforcing. Oh, nice. He does cancel his goal. And Nicoract, can we break this position? I mean, the carriers, they're amassing, they're coming together, they're converging. Scan reveals a lack of fourth. Going to be rotating in between the bases. Looks like Nice wants to expand here at the triangular third instead. And we're going for the dive. Oh, we have to be very careful though. Yeah, tank is sieging. Nicoract pushing forward. Where's the shield battery? We do have one shield battery. We do have an overcharge. Good split so far. Good spread. We shut down the Colossi. We're diving on top of the carriers, but do we have enough anti-air? We don't. Not enough anti-air here. The Marines are going down. Cloak is activated. The Marauders, they can't kill anything. Oh, they can at the scan. He gets the Twilight Council. Good pick up. Good pick off, but the army is being cleaned up. At the same time, we do manage to get into a mineral line, though. Good target firing. We get 7. We get 8 probes. 9 probes go down. And again, if that was any other kind of army there, Nice would have died, but it's all about the anti-air. And the Marauders, they don't shoot up. We get eyes on the gold. Another tank is going to bleed out as well. Nice holds. But Nicoract behind this, we have 72 workers, and look at all those Vikings. That's a lot of Vikings, Papi. On top of that, sniping the Twilight Council means delayed charge. It means the ground army of Nice is that much weaker. Which means investing this heavily into all these Vikings, it's going to work out. It's going to work wonders. The Observer does see that. The Observer does see the mass Viking Ghosts are on the way. Walonis is mining. We need another base. It's soon to be taken. Nicoract trying to maintain himself. Now, what's scary here is that the carrier count, it has been untouched, and it's getting larger and larger. A lot of carriers on the way. We have 5 carriers, soon to be 7. That's a lot of carriers, Pappy. As we move out, nice, he does spot it. He sees, he knows. He's getting ready. How many Colossi do we have? 1. We have 1 Colossus with the main army. That's not a lot. I feel like a lot of this is going to come down to the EMP. On top of that, we have a shield battery, we have an overcharge. We are leading the charge. Yeah, we do get the EMP here on the carriers. But the overcharge is too good. We bleed out every single Viking. That was not the fight to take in the slow zone. Oh, that was 10 Vikings going down. And just like that, the wind gets taken out of the sails of Nicoract because he cannot push out without a high Viking count. So he's going to be stuck at home, and nice, he survives. We're settling into a longer game. We're settling into a longer game. That was the moment, and it does feel like maybe Nicoract was premature. Maybe we should have calmed things down a little bit, waited for an extra warp in or an extra wave of reinforcements. Nice, he's getting his goal base up and running. Meanwhile, we do have a power spike. We have 3-3. We have a timing. 3-3 is on the way for Nicoract. He's rebuilding his Vikings. Nicoract, he will max out, but so will Nice is the problem. Going for another scan. And Nice taking a 5th base. Double drop into the main. He's going to pick up all these interceptors. Yeah, forces a recall at the same time. We can deny the southern bases. Scan reveals the army. Nicoract, he doesn't know. If he knew about this southern base, he could cancel it 100%. He could deny that base. EMP here on the Colossi will bring both of them down. But I don't think we have enough. We do get the mothership. But you can see the carriers, they reign supreme. We bleed out our ghosts. We can't fight this, though. Again, the Marauders, they don't add much. As the almost pure carrier army is going for a big counterattack. That's 9 carriers and 1 Colossus. Nice. Okay, he's going to pull back. I do think he could have committed, actually. I do think he could have committed, especially because there's no ghosts. We need some ghosts here. We need some EMPs. 0 ghosts for Nicoract. That is concerning. Again, without the initial EMPs, or the wave of EMPs, it's going to be a tough fight. And nice, he gets his 5th. Gets his 5th base. Nicoract, he's maxing out. Now he's making 4 ghosts here towards the end just to top up his army. Here we go. Scan. This is a brutal scan here for Nicoract. He sees in the base it's already fully operational. So Nicoract, he can't quite touch this, so not easily. Gonna have to back off. Rebuilding. He's up to 17, soon to be 19 Vikings. Nicoract has maxed out, so was Nice. Now Nice doesn't have Storm. Bear that in mind. No Storm here for Nice. He has 2 Colossi. Vikings, they do engage a little bit too soon. Yeah, EMP's looking decent, but a lot of Vikings already went down. Marauders are steaming on forward, but do we have too many Marauders? We do! The Vikings are falling, and these Marauders are dead supply. Again, just a little bit too heavily reliant on them. They're steaming on forward. They get a pylon, they get a couple of workers, but Nicoract, he's plummeting in supply. Yeah, just a rough fight. And the mass carrier, it's getting out of hand, Pappy. Yeah, it is becoming too much. You can see Nicoract, he needs time to remax and time to rebuild. Bleeding out 9 SCVs. And now here comes the counterattack. Here comes Nice, snowballing out of control. I don't think he's lost a single carrier. Let's double check that. Okay, he's lost 2. He's lost 2 carriers so far. 2 carriers. He's up to 9. It's nice. He is breaking through. He knows how to play Protoss, Pappy. What do you need? Just make the carrier. Just mass carry. GG gets called. There's just not enough there to stop him. And nice, he will take the series 3-2, becoming this week's Sparkling Tuna Cup champion. GG. GG, well played. Again, a very unique style here out of Nice. Time and time again, just rushing into carries as quickly as possible. And at times, Nicoract could punish him. At other times, he couldn't. I did like how Nicoract approached Equilibrium, but the first Viking push was brutal. I think that was the moment that Nice was able to gain a lot of momentum there, is when Nicoract threw away his first 10 Vikings. Like, that was a brutal moment. GG, well played. Hold on, let's quickly set things up here. GG, well played. Congratulations to Nice, as he is going to be our champion this week, claiming his 3rd Sparkling Tuna Cup win for himself. Don't forget to join Matcherino for payouts. There we go. Just letting the players know not to forget to join Matcherino, and you yourself can support us on Matcherino as well. Exclamation mark Matcherino in the chat if you guys want to have, if you guys want to support this tournament, if you wish. Again, all the money on Matcherino goes straight towards the players, not towards us. Meanwhile, on Patreon, you can support not just the tournament, but all of our tournaments together. Again, exclamation mark Patreon in the chat if you want to support Sparkling Tuna Cup, Sea Duckling Open, and Master Swan Open as well. We do host 3 events currently. We have put Grand Platypus Open and the Tenacious Turtle Tussle on hiatus. We have put some of our events on hiatus, but others have returned. That is how we're going to be approaching 2024 at least for the next year. And yeah, with that, you can support us there if you wish. Otherwise, you can subscribe on Twitch, or you can just follow us. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. Follow us anywhere and everywhere if you wish. And you can, again, support us by following us, by watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the tournament. Hope you guys enjoyed the cast. Hope you guys did enjoy. And with that, yeah, hope you guys had a great time here tonight. Now, there is a cast that we missed. Because we were busy with Sparkling Tuna Cup, the Stars War 11 closed qualifier did occur. And there is some casting for us to do there. But it was already a bit of a longer cast, and it was already a bit of a longer cast here, and unfortunately, I do have some plans later on tonight, so I don't have time, I don't think, to cast Stars War 11. We will be doing a catch-up cast. We're going to be doing a catch-up stream in a couple of days. Let me just quickly check our calendar. For Stars War 11, the Asia Closed Qualifier. Okay, so tomorrow we're busy with ESL Open Cups. So we're going to be casting ESL Open Cup Asia and Europe tomorrow. And Stars War 11 qualifiers as well, I think. Yeah, and Stars War 11. So Tuesday, we're going to be catching up with Stars War 11, the Asia Closed Qualifier. So if you're curious, if you want to just know the results is on Wikipedia, but we will be casting those matches on Tuesday. Before the EU and Americas qualifier, we will be going over the Stars War 11 qualifier, so the closed qualifier. So we got you covered there. We will be catching up in a couple of days. Unfortunately, we won't be able to catch up today just because this event lasted quite long. 5 hours. Jesus. A 5-hour cast here for Sparkling Tuna Cup. Mike, we went the distance, but went the distance. Oh my god. So, yes, if you're curious about Stars War 11, we'll be catching up in a couple of days. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for everything here. And we'll see you guys next week. If you're curious, this tournament is a weekly tournament. So every single week, the regions collide. Asia, Europe, Americas, Latino America, Southeast Asia. It all comes together here in Sparkling Tuna Cup. And we have a great time. We have a blast. So, yeah. Do consider following us here if you're interested. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the support. I see the chat. I'm going to copy this build. Oh, no. Stay away. Don't do it. Don't go to the dark side. Not like this. Not like this. But regardless, here we go. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for the support. And exclamation mark Patreon in the chat. Exclamation mark Matcherino. There we go. We'll see you guys tomorrow for some ESL Open Cup action. See you then. Hasta luego. Ciao, papi, ciao. Hasta luego.